Live, and there we go. It's live. Well, it seems to be working. Camera's not the best of quality. So far, the only person on there is me. It seems like.
Okay. People will
Nope. Here we go.
see that you're done.
All right. E. Stevens Excavating LLC. Good evening. How are you? Stevens, where are you located at? The Peach State, Georgia. Nice. How's the weather out there today? We were rained in today. Went to haul some gravel this morning, but the rain started up, so we had to end the day. So nice. I have family that lives in Oklahoma. I always tell them they have the worst weather in the country. It's either hot and humid or raining and cold. There's not a lot in between, it seems like, out in that part of the country. So 2020 year in review. My wife April and I went out to ConExpo in Vegas in March. We were there for about a day and a half, and the ConExpo got shut down because of coronavirus. That's when it first came out. But it was pretty neat seeing all that equipment there. We had never been, and it was pretty good experience. The size of some of that equipment they have there is unbelievable. They can get it in those buildings, but so that was pretty neat. That was in March. It seems like quite a few people go to that that are on these YouTube sites. Yeah, it happens every 3 years. So 2023 should be the next one. I'm not sure if they have the dates on the ConExpo website yet, but you can check the conexpo.com. I think it's ConAg is what they call it, actually, because they have some ag equipment there too. But it's pretty good. I think I want to say it was like around $150 a person for the 3-day pass. And we stayed right there close. We walked to the facility from our hotel, and it was pretty good. I would recommend going. Stevens, what equipment do you have? We started out, I was a land surveyor, 3rd generation land surveyor from just out of high school all the way up until about 2013. I started doing tractor work in about 2001. And I bought a little skip loader, New Holland Ford skip loader, about 35 horsepower. And just to do stuff around my own house. And I had it parked, and people would stop by on the street we were at, and they would ask, do you do tractor work? Can you come do my driveway? Can you come make me a pad for a shed? So I started out in 2001 doing that, and I did surveying and tractor work from 2001 all the way up till about 2013. Then we moved to Montana, and I did tractor stuff only then. We moved back to California in 2015, and I went back to surveying, but I was still doing tractor stuff too. I did surveying and tractor for about a year. Then I just quit surveying and just been doing tractor stuff since then, 100% of the time. So my second tractor I got was 2006. I got a 7,500 pound brand new Kubota Mini X with a thumb and a blade, but it was a straight blade. They hadn't came out the angle blades yet. 289 and a link belt. Nice. My good friend in Montana just bought a brand new 299 Cat D, I believe. And he's also got a 306 excavator. He went all in when he got his equipment. They're both brand new. So after I got in 2006 was that Mini X, and I had that until I think 2011, and I got the excavator that I have now. I guess it was 2012. The excavator I have now is 9,500 pound Kubota machine, 9,600. Then I went for a while with just an excavator for probably 3 years. We moved back to California. Hey, Miss Elite, how's it going? So we moved back to California in 15. I sold one of my skip loader for a part of the down payment on our new house. And then we, like I said, we only had the mini excavator for about 2 or 3 years. And I did a lot of stuff with that Mini X that I probably shouldn't have been doing. I was doing 100 by 100 pads. It has an angled blade on the front, so it's like a small dozer. But it's pretty rocky around here, so it was kind of slow going. But we had excavator up until I think I bought the new tractor in 2018, and it's a Kubota track loader. And then we've had that and the excavator ever since. Hey, Aaron, how's Brandon doing? Is he back to work yet? He was saying at the end of the beginning of this week he was going to try to go back to work. Is he back to work doing some jobs? So the Mini X, I think, has probably been my best tractor. Those type of tractors. The track loader has been really nice too. It's kind of a top of the line machine. It's got everything you can get on it. It's got a cab, heat and air. Nice, good to hear. My in-laws had it. My father-in-law was down and out for quite a while, and he still says after about noon he just doesn't have any energy in the afternoons. And he lives in Montana, so it's cold air, so he has a tough time being outside breathing that cold air in his lungs. But Brandon's a lot younger. He'll come back. Yeah, Cat 305E, that's a nice machine. Yep. Yeah, those Cats are nice machines. I think on my next track loader I get, it'll be a long time from now, but I really like the Takeuchis. I rented a TL8, which is a one size smaller than I would get. I would get a 10 or a 12. The Kubota I have now is equivalent to a 10. But I really like that Takeuchi. They're a lot faster. They're a lot faster. Their top speed's a lot faster. They're a lot less. To move the joysticks is hardly anything. At the end of the day, my Kubota, my left shoulder from the directional stick gets a little sore from. It's just a little too much, needed to move it. Yeah, of course, Aaron. Everybody wants a dozer, but not everybody can haul them. That's a problem. If you were to get a dozer, Aaron, what brand would you get? I would get a Komatsu. I haven't ran a lot of dozers, but I really like the Komatsus. They're easy to see out of. They run really well. Everybody that has them has good reviews about them. So Steven's out in Georgia. What do you do out there? Do you do commercial stuff, homeowner stuff, residential stuff? Yes, car smushing. I think that is the technical term for most dozer operators. They like to smush cars. So where we're at is in, it's not technically Northern California. It's not Southern California either. We're in Central California, in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains. Yeah, it seems like mulching's pretty big out there. A lot of the guys I follow on YouTube, most of the people I follow, it seems like they're all in that area. Alabama, Georgia, Missouri, the Carolinas. It seems like everybody out there, the smaller ones, have mulching heads. There's not a lot of call for that where I'm at here. My machine's actually a low flow machine, so it wouldn't work on my track loader anyway, but it seems like there's a lot of that work out there. Do you charge, Stevens, do you charge by the hour on with that mulching head, or do you give bids? You contract a lot of that stuff, or do you do hourly? It's pretty rocky out here where we're at. I just had a job drilling. I drilled 100 post holes for a pipe fence that was my buddy was building, and the homeowner hired me to do the holes, and it was the best ground I've ever drilled around here. It was sandy and not one rock. It was all a low area, so it was all sediment that had settled there. But it was pretty nice. By the day, yeah, I do a lot of my work by day too. Some of the stuff I'll do are small things, so I'm there for 1 to 3 hours. I have a minimum $400 I'll charge for just coming to do most stuff, but it's crazy how different people charge in the different parts of the country. It's such a wide spectrum of the profit margins and the costs. Like in the South, I don't know what your guys' fuel is right now. Your diesel's maybe around $2 a gallon. Out here, we're hovering around $4 a gallon, between $3.50 and $4 a gallon. But we back to the tractors. Oh, okay. Brush cutter. Gotcha. So for this year, I had quite a few pretty good sized jobs this year. I unfortunately don't film most of my stuff. I don't know how Brandon does it. He's got way more patience than I do. He films everything and edits it all real well. And a lot of these guys I follow do that. I have to start doing it if I really want people to actually watch my channel. I do a lot of pretty interesting jobs, and I just don't film them. It was my goal this last year to do more filming, and I didn't do much more than I did the year before last. So I need to make a decision to do more filming this year. Yeah, Aaron said it's like another full-time job to do the filming and editing. It is. I do most of my stuff with my iPhone, and I do the little bit of editing that I do on the iPhone, stringing the little video clips together. But it's something I really should put more effort into. I do a lot of jobs that are actually pretty interesting, and it's crazy. Some of these guys, like that Andrew Camarada, I think he's in New York or somewhere. He's got like 750,000 followers, and he screws up. The first couple years I watched him, he screwed up more jobs than he got right. But people like watching it, and he takes the time to do some really good editing. He's got drones, and he's a young single guy, so he's got plenty of time to do that. And I have the time too. I can figure out the time to do it. I just don't do it. But it's crazy how a lot of these channels get going. Some of the guys I watch, like Dirt Boss or Brandon, and there's a few others that, yeah, that Andrew guy he does some crazy unsafe things. He does when he runs a chainsaw and partially cuts trees down and then goes and pushes them over with a small excavator. The tree's just hanging there. There's a lot of stuff he does and I don't think he's a licensed contractor. It doesn't sound like he is, but like I said, people watch him, so it's interesting. I think people like to watch to see what he'll screw up next, or if he'll ever get hurt one day. I don't know. But there's a lot of guys that are on here that they put in hours of editing, and that's what it takes to get people to watch your channel for sure. So for 2020, big purchase I made this year was a dump truck. The guy that used to haul for me, he started hauling for me in about 2005, and he hauled for me up until about a year ago, and about a year ago. And he had a 95 F800, and he knew the emissions, California emissions, Yeah, Let's Dig 18. He does a lot of Aaron, do you know him? Chris from Let's Dig 18. Do you have any idea who that is? So, but the dump truck was a 95. So in California, you have to have the DEF system on there. You have to have all the emission stuff. So basically, you have to have one that's about 2013 or 14 or newer, or they won't renew your registrations. But so he had been waiting. He knew that the EPA was going to get on him about that. And about a year ago, he got a letter in mail saying he needed his truck to get inspected by the EPA. And he's 70 years old. So he said, I'm out. He's out of business, and sold it to a guy in Oregon for like $8,000 or something. And it was a nice old, well taken care of truck. But so we were kind of in limbo there for about 6 or 8 months, using other guys to haul for me. And one guy I used to haul for me was my direct competition. We get along well, but I felt, why am I giving him all my hauling gravel money when I could be giving that to myself? But the cost, because it had to be such a new truck, was very cost prohibitive because, like I said, it's got to be newer with the emission stuff. So I found a 2018 in September. I found a 2018 Ford F-750 fully loaded. Guy from a local Dodge dealer, actually, he had it, and he had it on his farm at home, and he never drove it. He had it for 2 years, and it had 900 miles on it. So I ended up getting that for $85,000, which he paid $105,000. So it was a really good deal. But there's a lot of cost involved with a new truck, between the registration and the insurance and the carry permit. And there's a lot of stuff in there that just eats away your profit from truck. You hear a lot of these guys on here, they always say, you don't make any money with a truck. You just keep your business going. And that's like my wife said, it's a good tax write-off, and it keeps my tractor stuff going. I supply my own material when I need it. The other guys, when I was calling them, they weren't available. They say, I can get to you in a week or two. Well, working for a homeowner, residential stuff, they don't need it in a week or two. They need it when you're doing the job. Dirt Perfect. How's it going, man? So, yeah, you got quite a few dump trucks as well. But I love the truck. It's the automatic. It's got the 6.7 Ford in it. It's got I think it's a torque shift. They call it the Ford transmission. It works great. It's the nicest truck I ever thought I would get. But the problem is it's very, very expensive. So we're going to keep it going and see how it goes. But that was our biggest purchase in 2020. That's for sure. We're going to, we probably won't be buying much else. I bought a couple of implements that go on the track loader this year too. I bought a land plane, it's called, from the guy I got my dump truck from. Like I said, he owns a Dodge dealer in one of the cities down in the valley here. And yeah. The insurance was very eye-opening for me, being just getting into the heavy truck insurance. I probably got hammered. I don't know. I'm paying, I think, $1,800 every 6 months. So $3,600 a year for the insurance on that truck just to haul local. But you gotta pay it. But the guy that owned that truck was a owner of a Dodge dealer, and he had I got to his house when I went and looked at the truck, and I saw some tractors in the background, and I ended up buying the truck. In the back of his property, I could see some nice tractors sitting back there. I got it home, and about 2 weeks later, he texted me and checked on me and said, "Hey, how's the truck doing? Are you liking it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm liking it." He said, "Well, I have some implements for he had a brand, like a 3-year-old 299 cat." He said, "I have a bunch of implements." He had every implement that you could think of for a 12,000-pound track machine. And anyway, I ended up getting a land plane from him. It looked like it had been used maybe 2 or 3 times. He wanted $800 for it. I gave him $500 for it. I looked it up. That same one, I think, is $2,800. So it worked out pretty good. Hey, Brandon, you're kicking tonight. I figured you'd be in bed. It's late. I hear you got a little time in the seat today on the excavator. That's good. So anyway, for 2020, I think we upgraded our equipment pretty good. That's good to hear, Brandon. So for 2021, I don't have any real big jobs lined up, but I have quite a few medium-sized jobs. So medium-sized jobs for me are, I don't know, probably 1,500 to 5,000. That's what I would consider a medium-sized job, and that's kind of what keeps me in business. I do almost all homeowner stuff. I do work for a lot of local contractors too, some builders and some plumbers. I do most of their digging. The town we live in is I think it's about 13,000 people, and there's not a lot of guys that do the dirt work here. I've been doing it since 2001, so I don't advertise. I'm fourth generation from this county, so my name's pretty well known. So that part's kind of nice. The advertising, you don't know what you're going to get as far as jobs. People recommend me a lot on Facebook. That works out great on the local Facebook bulletin boards and stuff like that. And people ask about dirt work, and I get recommended all the time on that. I get probably, I don't know, 20% of my jobs come off of Facebook nowadays, it seems like. Brandon, you remember that video I did with all the stuff that I have found, the horseshoes and the old bottles and the crystals? Have you guys, when you've been digging, Stevens, and Dirt Perfect, any of you guys, what's the coolest things you guys have dug up? When I was in Montana, I was digging for a company there, mainline, anywhere from 7 to 22 feet deep. And we found a lot of pretty neat things there in Northeast Montana. There was, there's a lot of bones up there. It used to be in the ocean back in, millions of years ago. So there's a lot of rocks you dig out that had fossils and shells in them. So that was pretty neat. A lot of the stuff out there we found when we were out hunting or fishing, we would find buffalo skulls or buffalo horns, old teepee rings from the natives that lived there. The rings were still on these plateaus out in the prairie. So it was pretty neat living up there. So yeah, Brandon, I remember you saying that before. Lots of various house parts. That's those tornadoes hurricanes you guys went through were pretty devastating. I know you got pretty messed up in yours. It sounded like it picked you up out of the house, and I think you said it threw you into the backyard. A safe that was empty. Yeah. So when I was surveying, you run a metal locator to find the property corners out here. Most of the property corners out here are rebars. Sometimes they use old axles. They would drive in axles for property corners. And I was out in the field one time, not too far off a highway, and I was looking for a property corner with the metal detector, and I found a revolver, an old revolver that was missing a cylinder. I think somebody had threw it out the window, and when it hit, the cylinder went flying. But that was pretty neat. It was a little 38 special. Oh, Brandon found a bra once. Nice. What size? So Brandon, I noticed you don't really have anybody who runs your machines. I know your boy's only 11 or 12, I think. Mine's 16. He's now running my equipment. We did a job last week. Redid a driveway and cut an RV pad in, and I had to haul 4 or 5 loads in. So he ran the track loader most of the time. That was pretty handy. Out here for your workman's comp insurance, you can have an employee, if it's your son or daughter, work for you, that you don't have to have workman's comp insurance. So that works out kind of nice. But Brandon, you don't ever have anybody run your machines. I know you have some guys on your sites with that big track loader. that help you out sometimes, but I think I've only ever seen you in your machines. Yeah. Yep. Up until about probably 2 years ago, Dominic started helping me when he was about 14, mostly running a shovel, doing that stuff first. But he, um, he enjoys doing it. He likes running the track loader more than he does the excavator, but he's been getting on the excavator more lately. Um, but, and I'm not pressuring him. He doesn't have to do what I do or take over my business or anything like that. That's right, Aaron. I forgot about you. You've helped him out quite a few times in the last year, actually. But I don't give Dom any pressure about that. If he wants, but all I think is, if he's in college in the summertime when he wants to make some money, he has the knowledge of knowing how to run equipment. And out here, he can make, just starting out, he can make 35, 40 bucks an hour running equipment for somebody. So I'm thinking this summer I'll start working him a bit. Yes, she has. Yeah. Erin actually got quite a bit better on this than when she was running it. You could tell when she first started, she was nervous, and it looks like she liked running the excavator more than the track loader. Stevens, your 18-year-old graduates this year and will probably join me after he goes off to the Air Force. Nice. It's a good idea to teach them a work ethic. Yeah. And he's like I said, he started out doing shoveling. We did a couple jobs this summer for some track homes that were being built for a plumber, and we did all the underground for him. We had to do the water and the sewer, and it was in some really rocky ground. The sewer tie-ins they weren't super deep. They were probably 6 to 9 feet deep. And so he had to do a lot of shoveling on those tie-ins, and he learned quite a bit. He ran my laser as I was digging for the sewer. So he's learning. Aaron, you got to get used to the loader. Those Takeuchis, like I said, their controls are touchy, so it doesn't take much to move them. But you'll get used to it. The main thing I tell guys when they're learning how to run a loader, and Brandon can say the same thing, is you put the arm all the way down when you're finished grading, or even when you're picking up a scoop out of a pile. Put the arm all the way down, and then you just use your bucket to get your level. And because a lot of guys will raise their arm up and then point the bucket down, and they'll dig into the dirt and hunch forward. And yeah, they are a rough ride. Especially out here, it's pretty rocky. Brandon, I remember you saying you get about 2,000 hours, 2,500 hours out of your tracks and your track loader. Is that right? I'm not going to get anywhere near that on mine. It's so rocky out here. They're getting chopped up already. I think my machine's only got 500 hours on it, something like that, 600 hours. Brandon, what's your hours of your track loader now? I know your goal is to get to 10,000 hours on it. Are you at like 7,000 or 8,000 hours now? I don't know if you guys watched, but a few months ago, I think in November, beginning of November, I built a road up a really steep bank. 8165. Look at that. You got it down to the hour. And that was in one of the jobs. I should have got a tripod out and set it and really videoed it correctly, because it was a really neat job. It was super steep. It was dangerous. I subbed out the jackhammer to one of my competitors here, and he had his case there to get up this shale face, and it was a really neat job. The customers were super happy. They didn't think we'd be able to do it. The neighbors it was big 5-acre homes out there, and pretty nice homes, and the neighbors kept coming over saying, I don't think they're going to be able to get it. He's not going to be able to build the road up that. And it turned out pretty good. But that, like I said, that's one of the jobs where if I want to have a YouTube page that people actually want to watch, I need to film and take the time to do it. Brandon, how many hours a week would you say you do on your editing for your filming? Say in a 7-day period, you got your 5 working days and then you got your weekend. How many hours do you think how many hours do you work on filming and editing at the house? Nice. Stevens, what size is your link belt machine? Yeah, 25 hours a week. That's a lot. As Aaron and Brandon probably know because they follow me on Facebook too. Dominic and I do a lot of fishing. We bass fish and we fish for everything, but we do that a lot. 30,000 pound machine. That's a big one. So I don't know. It feels like a full-time job. Yeah, it is. But Brandon, your viewership went crazy in the last year and a half. You've got a lot more viewers. 30,000 pound. You can get a lot done with that machine. 1,000 hours. That's like a brand new machine. Brandon, it seems like you like that rake you got for your Mini X. Used it quite a bit there in the last few weeks. Look like. I built I don't know, about a year and a half ago or something. I built a ripper for my Mini X. Yeah, I would never buy a machine with a 30,000 pound machine with a blade. I think is about as big as they come with a blade. I believe. I rented the biggest Takeuchi they have about a year ago, and I loaded some trucks out with it, and it was a really nice machine. But it had a blade on it too. Good night, Aaron. We'll see you. Thanks for checking in. I almost made 6 people. But as far as implements for an excavator, for a Mini X, the angled blade is, you got to have it. I know Brandon got an angled blade on his new machine, and mine, I think I got mine in 2012. Yep, 2150 is it's a good machine. You're gonna like it, Brandon. It's a lot smoother ride than our little machines are. I know your Mini X is like 12,500 pounds, so it's a little bigger than mine. But they beat you up bad. And the 2150 I rented it for I think 3 days, and it was really nice. It had I think a 36-inch bucket on it. But the cab was very nice. The controls were nice. It was roomy, but very comfortable. I've ran 320s and 345s, cats. The big machines, bigger than the excavator, the Takeuchi. The bigger machines I ran were all cats, but they're just a lot easier on your body. They have air ride seats, but they don't bounce you around nearly as much as our little machines do. Hey, Brandon, what's that 2150 run you out there for rental? Yeah, Stevens, that tree puller, what your machine, what size is your track loader, Stevens? You said it's I think a 79. What do those weigh? Around 8,000 pounds? And what size trees can you pull out with that tree puller? It's crazy how many attachments they have for the track loaders. 10,000 pounds. Okay. Brandon, how's that new trailer working out? I think I had made a comment on your live stream there, and I've always wanted a trailer that could haul both on. 1850 a week. Yeah, that's pretty dang cheap. It's quite a bit more than that out here. Oh, you pick it up tomorrow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that trailer, I know for the stuff I do, I've always wanted one where I could haul both. But the problem is most of my stuff, I'm within about 10 or 15 miles of my house. So it's not a huge deal to run back and pick up the other machine. But the problem is I'm on residential streets and I just couldn't park something that long. It's just not enough room for most of the jobs I do. Steven said I felled a 30-inch digging around the roots, but pulling a tree maybe 8 inches depending on soil. Yeah. Nice. All right, guys. Well, I just wanted to try this live thing. Hey, Brandon, did you say you were close on your overall length with that trailer? Your length limit? Yeah, 50-ton dry axle. That's a good setup there. You might want to check on that, Brandon. Yeah, I bet those. Well, and also Stevens, you're pulling it with a lot bigger truck than I pull. My F750, it's got a 12-foot bed on it, so it's a little longer wheelbase than most of the single axles. But you got your truck itself is quite a bit longer than mine. Brandon, what brand trailer did you get? Oh, okay. Felling, those are nice. I was telling Stevens earlier, we were talking about Con Expo. He said he hadn't been to it, and 2023 is the next one, so hopefully they'll have it. We plan on going back. We were only there for a day and a half before it got canceled, but it was pretty neat. All right, guys. Well, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. We got a few people to get on here and chat a little bit. If I get a few more subscribers, maybe I'll do this again sometime at a later date. But we'll see you guys on YouTube. Brandon, I'm glad you're back at it. Stevens, thanks for subscribing the other night. And we'll see you guys later.